Okay, so I'm indoors to make another audio version. I'll put some B-roll back in here for the past couple of videos. And what happened back these other ones? I've got this new computer, and some things just aren't quite working out with it. It's a little frustrating, but I'm getting I just put together, including the volume on it. I realized I screwed up in that last video. The volume was all hooped up. And I'm going to reload that one again with the correct audio so everybody can have a fair crack at listening to it properly. I don't know what everybody's using out there. I'm just going to touch base on what I spilled the other day with the mail sent to me, showing me the email, the personal email, between Bobby Short and this individual who has been in contact with me. And I want all of you to understand something here. There's a handful of you probably missing something. There's a handful of you that are getting butthurt and offended and angry. Is when it comes to this particular story that I'm sharing these details about, take note. I never asked about this. I never went looking into this on my own. These people have been getting a hold of me directly on their own. They've been asking people who they know that know me for my mailing address and confidence. They've been asked for my email. They have definitely done their homework on myself and my background, and they feel safe with me and confident. They know I am not connected to any of these individuals or groups in any way, never have been, and I have no urge to be. But anyway, I want you guys to picture something here, all right? Now, one thing, especially these days lately, there's been a handful of things that have happened that basically everybody has watching the news. And a few of these things have been some characters that have been in the public eye for some time. People like Bill Cosby, as an example, possibly, or that Epstein dude, or the Weinstein dude, the Hollywood guy. And one thing all of these have in common is they've been big, prominent names for many, many years, right? And also, for many years, there's been rumored accounts of them abusing people and actually even the ultimate worst, raping people, right? Because of their positions in life, their power, they have the power to intimidate people and to do these crimes in confidence. Well, one thing that eventually happens hopefully with all bad people is, they can carry on a facade for quite some time, obviously. We've seen that proof with those names I just mentioned. It's not hard to see it. But eventually somebody's going to come around that's brave enough to stand up and speak out loud about them. And once that starts, that courage, that braveness spreads. And it spreads around. And people that have been sitting there, possibly intimidated in the past, nowhere to go, not sure who to talk to, they start to talk. And they get confident, and they get angry, and they let it rip. I am not the first person in the world to have been informed about these facts, these details, of these past individuals who have been abused and attacked by the usual culprits when it comes to the Sasquatch topic, especially the Patterson film topic. Okay? And this has been going on for some time. And it seems so far up to date, it's been successful for, potentially, the guilty to have cruised through this lifetime fairly untouched, and they've been able to talk louder, intimidate, attack, possibly ruin the careers of people who they deemed as a threat to possibly exposing their reality, right? And but time runs out for those individuals. It always runs out. It eventually runs out. And eventually somebody comes forward with the confidence and says, we're going to talk about this a little more because there's just far too many witnesses and too many facts out there, right? So that's where myself and other people are coming into play. Now, there's been a handful of people, of course, are just going to flat out call me a liar, a bullshitter. He made it all up. I'm like, really? For me to make up something like this? You imagine that skill? Do you imagine the skills it would take to just wake up one morning where your life is actually rocking along quite fine? You're having a lot of fun. You get nothing but good coming. And all of a sudden you wake up one morning and decide to make something like this up. That would take a lot of time. It would actually take a lot of time just to recreate or to create this email I have in my hand right now out of scratch. That'd be take something else. But there's a handful of people out there that say I'm making up every single story that's emailed to me and I'm sharing online. There's people that actually call me a bullshitter, and they flat out accuse me of making it all up. I'm like, my God, you know what I think when I read that? I think, holy crap, could you imagine having that skill? Could you imagine being able to just wake up one morning and rattle off thousands of encounter stories from various people around the globe and to recite those stories that were made up in your head smoothly and continuously and nonstop, like almost sometimes every day or every couple days too? Do you imagine the brain power that would take? My God, if I could have a skill like that, I would be a multi-gazillionaire. Somebody would pay you heavy to have that kind of intelligence and a brain that worked like that. Think about it. But anyway, getting back to this email I'm about to share, this isn't the only document that I've had mailed to me. This isn't the only document I have in my possession. And just so you all know, the person who mailed this to me is now seeking out permission to share much more, because there is much more to be shared. There is many facts and many articles of proof existing today to back up all of these emails and these statements made by these people years ago who were in the original circle who knew. Okay? And that is a fact. So if you come across, if anybody in the planet drops a bunch of information on me, and take note, I didn't ask for it, and if all of this information points directly to good, honest, especially women, it points to women being systematically attacked, belittled, and even having their careers annihilated by these dirty bastard monsters, I'm not one to stand there and look at it and go, gee, sucks to be them. Not me. I am definitely the person who's going to go to bat for them. I have seen enough abuse in my life, and I've seen far too many abused women in my lifetime that I refuse to stand silent and help the monsters hide. It's just not my makeup. It's not going to happen. And also I want you guys to understand another thing. Take note on that. While these emails are being read word for word publicly with you, and in doing so, it's only to encourage you to look for yourself. It's to encourage you to dig for yourself. If you're just more inclined to just sit there on your butt, read something from me or say from Scott Carpenter or somebody else, and then start screaming like a 2-year-old kid sitting at their high chair, I want more proof, damn it. Well, I don't have any time for you. This is there's enough proof out there. There's facts out there. If you have a true interest, start digging. Start digging yourself. I don't want you to listen to every single word I have to say and take it as gold. I'm the agitator. I'm the messenger. I'm here to share everything I know, everything getting sent to me, and I'm sharing things with you that people are asking me to share. Okay? Because they know I will. And they know I'm not going to twist it around. And that's a good thing. Now, another item. While you are all sitting there getting twisted out of shape, possibly, I want you to pull it together for about 15, 20 minutes, and I want you to picture this one. When it comes to any guilty party in anything in lifetime, especially when it comes to social media or speaking out loud or a radio station or a newspaper, an article, an interview, when people start to talk, who is it, and I want you to figure this out for yourself, who is it that basically 100% of the time tries to stop people from talking? Or, well, I guess that's basically the easiest way to describe it. Who is the one who first tries to discredit or tell somebody to stop talking or tells people not to listen to that person? Who is it? I'll tell you who it is. 100% of the time, it's the guilty. It's the nervous. It's the people who have a lot to lose. Okay? Those are the characters who always scream for people to shut up first. They're the ones that start getting nervous and start telling whatever following they may have, look at these idiots over here, don't follow them, don't listen to them, there's something wrong with these people. Okay? Those are the only people that do that. They're the only ones. You know, I can guarantee you, I was talking to Scott actually today about this, and I said to Scott, I go, hey Scott, how many people have you ever tried to shut up online or social media anywhere before in your lifetime? And then I added in, you don't have to tell me, I already know. No one. And probably, which is the exact same number of people I've tried to stop talking or tried to get to be quiet. I've never in my lifetime felt the urge to make somebody shut up or be quiet or quit saying anything. Ever. Never. But the ones who do, they are always guilty. Now, when it comes to this topic as well, there's another shared common denominator. If they're not guilty in attacking and abusing and misleading others, then they have something to lose, which is always money. It's always about the money, and it is true. You follow the money, you find out who's guilty. Right? Prove me wrong. Now, who do you think it is that is absolutely upset with me more than not? Figure out who that is and see what they do to make a living. Look into them and see what it is, what kind of an interest they have in this topic. What do they have to lose? And make sure you look into the ones that are most upset with me. Okay? And that's going to tell you a lot. And on that note, another note, not one individual has tried to private message me or contact me in any way. Not one of them. And if you're out there and you actually think I'm having a negative impact on your life, when it comes to this topic especially, get a hold of me and tell me all about it. And we'll have a good, lengthy chat. Okay? You know, there's this one emotionally deranged individual a few months back that took it upon himself. Well, first off, he got some name that's been fairly popular in the Sasquatch world. And this ding-dong got a hold of me, emailed me, and he wanted me to join up forces with him and start, marketing his whatever it is. He wanted me to get his name out and get his project out. I didn't even acknowledge it. I'm like, it's like looking at spam email. Yeah, I don't think so. Delete, gone, carry on. That's all I did. Never mentioned the person's name. Still never have. I'm sure they would do anything for me to mention the name, so I would market them because, believe it or not, any attention is good attention when you want your name or brand out there. And I refuse to do it. I'll never, ever speak this person's name online ever. But what do they do? It was about roughly 1 week later, after I refused to reply to the email, which I still have, requesting me to join. This idiot went to systematically attempting to discredit my character and never stopped. And by coincidence, oh look, this person makes money by booking Sasquatch expeditions or whatever it is they do. Teach your own, that's fine. But here's on that too. You imagine if you had a business where you charge money to go out for some kind of a Sasquatch experience, and somebody like me made a mockery of it online. Now, if you were legitimately supplying an awesome product, you weren't misleading anyone, you weren't taking advantage of anyone, and you're as solid as granite, anything that came out of my mouth wouldn't matter. It just would not matter, right? Think about it. I've had tons of people attack me, try to belittle me, try to inject that I have ulterior motives, and you know what? It doesn't sweat me the slightest, and it hasn't had one effect on any of my personal business or income, and it never will. Do you know why? Is because I'm legit. I'm legitimate in every facet of my life. I am legit, and nobody can harm me or take that away from me, because I've had nothing to hide. I've never misled, and I've never taken advantage of. Okay, you guys, are you starting to see the clear picture I'm trying to paint for you all to look for once you're done on this particular video? If you have the curiosity, if anybody out there gets upset at me for what I'm saying about, as an example, booking these farce expeditions to have a Sasquatch experience, well, if they're upset with me and they're getting verbal about it and they're stressing out about it, the only reason is because they're frauds. That's it. It's the only reason. Because if they were solid, legit, weren't misleading anyone, weren't trying to take advantage of anyone, business would go on as usual and they would have nothing to worry about. Okay? So, like I said, guess how many of those people have contacted me privately, directly, with concern about their honest business? Not one. So as long as it's like that, as long as people are carrying themselves that way, I will guarantee you it is only a full-on classic example of blatant guilt. All right? If somebody is saying something about you or the business you are in and making a mockery of it, and you're not saying one word, you're just kind of hiding in the background, groveling and grumbling about it, you're probably guilty of something and you just want it to stop and go away. Well, it's not going to stop and go away. So how's that for a little rant? Now listen to this. The wind interrupted me reading this, and I actually had a different type of audio recorder at the time that is super, super sensitive. Like it probably sounded like a tornado. It could probably sound like a tornado if a mouse farted nearby it. All right? So I'm indoors. I'm using the usual gear right now, and I already know the audio is going to be solid and quality. Now listen to this. This is a 2012 personal email from Bobby Short to the name I will leave out. Why? Because this person knows a lot. This person has direct contact with numerous people that you would actually probably jaw drop if you knew who. Okay? This person has spoken directly to, look into the eyes of individuals who were 100% directly linked to Roger Patterson, Bob Gimlin, Renee Hinden, John Green. All right? Directly linked. This person knows a lot, knows where a lot of evidence is. Direct evidence to back everything up. And they are feeding me items slowly and consistently, asking me if I'm interested, obviously, in fighting. And I'm like, yeah, of course I am, man. You kidding me? You show me this blatant proof of these women and others who have been attacked and belittled and basically socially annihilated by these pricks. I'm all in. I am absolutely all in. And you know what? Every single one of you should be all in as well. And I'm certain you will be once we get more of this ball rolling and we get the rest of the blatant evidence and a green light to share it. So until then, you can do what you will with this information. You can react the way you will. You can go out on your own and start digging, and you can get in the face of different individuals, look them square in the eye, and ask them some hard questions. All right? And I strongly suggest you do that. Now, listen to this. I'm going to read this again, clearly. You can hear the paper. It's in my hands. You saw it in my hands the other day. Now, 2012, personal email from Bobby Short to blank. Your questions will probably be echoed by readers. So it occurs to me I should get those questions from you and address them in a manuscript where appropriate. Would you think about those questions, and perhaps, when you can do it easily without interrupting your time away, let me know all of them. On the subject of Bluff Creek, I'm actually terrified to write all that I know. It would be another book, of course. Two of the principals are still alive, and both have threatened me in different ways. Beyond that, John Green has threatened to ruin my reputation by discrediting and derision. He has in place well-known people to do that. He knows full well what I have that essentially blows the whole Bluff Creek event wide open. I want badly to tell the story, but some of it is horrible and hard to believe, yet it happened. I've seen the film and it doesn't lie. Green and Gimlin are not the men they pretend to be. They've essentially lied to the general research and press for 45 years. Green's father was alive at the time, 1967, and it would have been unseemly for the son of the Canadian diplomat to be involved in the Bluff Creek event. Howard Green, John's father, was head of Canadian Public Works under British Prime Minister John Diefenbaker. In fact, John ran for public office and failed. Howard Green was known for his effort at exterminating, quote, exterminating the Orientals, end quote, out of Vancouver with the help of the British Empire. There is covert collusion between Canadian, British, United States governments where Bigfoot is concerned. Governments have known about them for a very long time. Not only do I fear for myself, but my children and their families, so I internalize and essentially just take the heat. It is suffice to say, I've been polygraphed and passed, so all the principals left alive in that Bluff Creek drama don't stand a chance. But, we'll call this person Eric. But Eric, I'm a nurse, a veteran nurse, in some 30 years, and it is not in my makeup to hurt people, even guilty people. I don't want to hurt Mrs. Patterson or her children. She is such a sweet, innocent lady who has only a vague idea of the real truth her husband was involved in. Same for Mrs. Gimlin. Grr. It's so complicated, so involved, but I will answer your questions. Now you understand partly why I stay to myself as much as I do. It's all very deep and very complicated. About Lyle Laverty. He was at Bluff Creek as a very young timber cruiser employed by the U.S. Forestry Service, and it was his job to mark trees to be cut for the road, Highway 96, that was being pushed through that pristine, never-before-seen Indian territory. He was very young and stupid. There are photographs taken that were and still are attributed to him. In those 45 years, he has told 3 different stories to 3 different people about his involvement there. He is not the most trustworthy person to be in his current political office, but he's there, along with some other sharks heading up for the Park Service and the U.S. Forestry Services. I know for a fact Laverty is the reason why David Paulides had so much difficulty getting answers from the FOIA and the Forestry. Today, Laverty is Secretary of the Department of Interior under Ken Salazar, a post given him by George W. Bush. I know for a fact when Dave and I were working in the Patterson film back in 2009, our emails were being looked at. Even today, the government keeps an eye on me. Here are the hits to my website that prove it as of last Friday. And then it shows, I don't know the tech words for all these numbers, but it shows the date, the time, the network, the hit, who it was from, the United States Department of Defense. And on the same day this hit, and it shows another one, at the hour 17:34, September 21st, Navy Network Information Command. It shows everything. And I'm not sure if that's a good or bad thing to share the screenshot of that in the video or not. Maybe next time, once I receive more mail as we go here in the future, I can share that little chunk with you guys too. It's no big deal. It's right here. So, quote, Rippers, end quote, is a government listening code and password busting software that was employed by Bush after 9/11. And it is legal for the Department of Homeland Security to read personal email. There is an email between, I won't say his name, and I that reflect government interest. My son does security backup for Qualcomm's 23,000 computers. They hired him right out of the audience at his graduation from high school, paid for his college tuition, and literally gave him whatever. He needed to keep him? He needed to keep him. So have the inside track, knowing how government hearing and listening devices work. My son does it for a living, uses similar software to keep Qualcomm's secret hardware and their satellites secure. This is our real world, Eric, real world. It is so much more complicated than finding and casting tracks of an unknown species. The Sask are people, real people living wild with families, known to all governments. They deserve rights, social security numbers, and benefits. They deserve to be counted, recognized, and protected. It's not right that Sasquatch should be hidden, scoffed at, and shot to death without laws. It's wrong. Okay, now on that note, you guys, there's a bunch of people that jumped on that one. Oh my God, they deserve Social Security, blah, blah, blah. You know what? From what I understand, Bobby's a very passionate person. She has a big heart. She really cared for the majority of these beings that she came across. And I don't know if she was overly familiar with the Dogman thing or the other crazy things that are running around the planet. Who knows? But I have a feeling right now she is absolutely referring to these Sasquatch beings that she was familiar with at the time, who obviously were not bad in any way. But again, we can leave everybody to their opinion and their feelings, and you can't tell them they're wrong because that's how she felt, and that is fine. You got to respect it. Now, carrying on with the letter, I generally say that because the world at large either doesn't want to hear it, accept it, or even know about such things. I don't know where you stood on the subject, so I left it hang. If you see the Sasquatch on your trip, don't tell the forestry. They are ordered to scoff, and, in private, they have been seen bringing in U.S. Army Rangers to eliminate the problem. Also, the BLM and Corps of Engineers. The world outside research doesn't quite understand what that means, but I think you do. There is much more, but honestly, I'm afraid to say in the email. It's the reason I stopped emailing you chapters. It's better to do it the way we are, and failing that, there is courier services, which I've used before when I had to. And that's the end of that particular piece of mail that I have in my hand. All right. So there you go. If you need to look up names in there, go ahead. I have more mail with this, with numerous names mentioned in it as well. And these names want to speak with me, which is fine. I'll do it. I'm all over it. You want to talk to me? I'll talk. You got something you want to get off your chest? Send it my way. It will help you out for sure. If you're on the good guy's side and you're here to fight the good battle, you are on my team. Okay? Now, getting back to another mention I made in the last video, the one with the poor audio. I guess the volume wasn't quite right set on it. Oops. I'm going to reload that entire video. It'll be much easier than retelling the whole thing. But how do I say this? Especially in politics today, I want to show you an example, what I'm about to get at. So in politics today, you have some old, lifelong American politicians who've been battling to get into the public eye, battling for the presidency, and every one of them says they have the plan to make the country better. But if it doesn't take too much to, use your common sense to stand back and realize, okay, wait a minute, these people have been in politics their entire lives. And they haven't made anything better yet. Why would they make anything better now? It's probably time for some young blood in there, some young fresh blood to get in there, stir things up and make things better with the people, right? So what I'm getting at by mentioning that is when it comes to this topic, and if you look at the old guard, take a look at all your common names that have been what I call, they have done a great job at getting their names known out there in the world, their faces in front of the lens more times than not. They've been on documentaries, they've been on reality TV, they've been all over the damn place, and they have made money off this topic, and they have made their faces known, and they have been very controlling, and they have belittled many people, attacked many people, and tried to prevent people from being heard, and that's what they have done. And there's acres of evidence backing that statement up. So what I'm trying to tell you guys is, no matter who it is out there today, if you are looking for answers on this topic, especially the Sasquatch, specifically what I'm talking about right now, the Sasquatch topic, go to those who actually know. All right? Go to those who know. Go to those who aren't making $1 off of the back of this, and seek out the people that aren't seeking attention. Seek out the people that aren't looking for camera time. That's who you seek out for this information. Okay? You need to go to First Nations communities. You have to. Those are the true living experts, and you got to treat them with respect. You got to treat anybody with respect and everybody with respect. And let's face it, the majority of these communities haven't been treated with much respect, right? So, but if you can, I strongly suggest to speak to the First Nations communities and get information from them. Get your answers, get your questions answered by them. Seek out the people who have seen these things. Seek out people who have had dramatic, there's not too many of these exciting, these encounters that aren't considered dramatic, but seek out the people who have seen these things and had experiences and have nothing to gain from sharing their experience with you. Seek those people out. There's thousands of them. There's literally thousands of them. Those are the people that are going to answer your questions. That's why I'm sharing their encounters here on my channel. They're the voices that need to be heard, and they are the true experts because they're the ones that lived it, saw it, smelt it. Okay? Those are the people you need to seek out and give their attention and respect to. It's time to kick this old school it's time to kick the old guard to the curb. Push them aside. How long have they been doing this? They all boast of being doing this for 30 years, 25 years, 40 years. Well, guess what's changed? Not much.